If you live in Arizona, in or around the Phoenix area, and you're considering bankruptcy, you'll love this tip from Christy Thompson of ArizonaLegalAdvocacy.com.
How do I stop the harassment itself before I file my bankruptcy?
Harassment is a little different in each state. Arizona views harassment under its own Fair Debt Collection Practices Act that it's adopted. And that's where you can stop your communication, while we talked about previously, that letter again, okay? But when you write that to them, you can, if you feel that they're harassing you, they're contacting you after 8 o'clock at night, or they're contacting you before 8 o'clock in the morning, and they have ignored the letter that you've sent, you can step up your request that they cease all communication with you by phone under Arizona's Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. And you can do that a couple of different ways. You can retain an attorney who then, once they've been notified, once the creditor has been notified that you're represented by an attorney, they can only contact that attorney. You can also write them a cease and desist letter that instructs them that they are no longer allowed to contact you except at a certain address. And you can make that your home address, or if you choose to, you can make that your P.O. box address. Okay? And then finally, you can write them and say that you refuse to pay the debt. And then you can outline the reasons why. And for some reason, for some people, that reason can be they don't owe the debt, they question the amount of the debt. And when you question the amount of the debt, you're actually disputing the debt. And that's an important thing to do. So your first step, if you feel that you're being harassed by a creditor, should be to dispute the debt. And what I mean by that is question their right to collect it. And they then have an obligation as a creditor to provide you with the proof, the documentation they have that says you actually own this debt. So say, for example, I take out a Visa card and I fall behind on my payments. Visa sells the debt, okay? That creditor then buys the debt, but I don't have any proof of that, Cindy. I'm entitled to find out what Visa sold and who purchased it, and if it was actually my debt that was sold. And so there should be, with that particular creditor who's now harassing me, they should have my original credit application, and they should have proof of how the debt came to be, meaning all the charges that I made, all the interest that was collected. So first step when you feel like you're being harassed is start disputing that debt. Find out exactly how much you owe and why you owe it, and if the creditor attempting to collect it from you has that proof. The next step, if they're continually harassing you after that, is to either obtain counsel or to write them a cease and desist letter instructing them that they only can contact you at a particular address. Now, you're writing these because they're harassing you, and so remember, as we discussed before, harassment can equal penalties. And that can be your actual damages, so it can be emotional distress, or it can be lost wages if they're contacting you at work and your employer becomes upset with you. It can be your attorney's fees. It can be court costs. So if you think that you're being harassed and you want to build a case against the creditor for the harassment, take these steps. And once you've taken these steps, you've written these letters, and they've not been able to provide you proof, actually in your bankruptcy case, you can sue these same creditors, and you can collect penalties for $1,000 per each time they've harassed you, and any actual damages after that. So you can actually defend yourself and get rid of some of these creditors, not in the sense that the debt goes away, but you can stop the harassment.
Thanks, Christy. We appreciate you answering our questions. If you have specific questions for Christy or would like to find out more about filing for bankruptcy in or around Phoenix, Arizona, visit Christy's website at ArizonaLegalAdvocacy.com.